All right, Mr. S, you challenged me. We talked on the phone in December. You thought I was wrong. I thought you were wrong. And you challenged me to look into buying insurance through the insurance marketplace, which used to be called the exchange. So I've documented the process. I don't know if the ending is surprising. It didn't surprise me. It might surprise you. So make sure that you watch this whole painful thing and see what I had to go through to get my questions answered. Make sure you watch the conclusion, because that is where everything comes together and we find out, just what's really going on there, and if I would save money. And that was your whole point. I would save so much money by buying insurance through the marketplace. It may be probably, I think you were trying to say, to be a similar kind of deal to what I have now, maybe a little bit different, but not too much different. And you also suggested that through my business, if I bought the insurance through my business, I could probably get a tax credit, to look into that, and that you were just convinced that this was such a great thing, buying insurance through the marketplace. You missed my entire point, however, that the reason I was calling is because I think health savings accounts are fantastic. I think they incent people to save for and to plan their health care, and they're available with what's called high deductible plans. So a high deductible plan for a long time had a $2,600 deductible, and the amount we could put in the health savings account, which rolls over from year to year, was just a little bit more than that. So it was around $2,700, then $2,900, then $3,000, and kept inching up because that's part of the tax code, tax law right now. But with the passing of the Affordable Care Act, the high deductible plans, deductible amounts went way up. So for standard Blue Cross Blue Shield plans, they went from $2,600 deductible to $6,000 deductible. But the amount we could put in the HSA every year and deduct on the 1040 did not go up commensurate. And I said, I think that with a $6,000 deductible now, the amount we can put into the HSA and be deducted on the 1040 is closer to $7,000. If you recall, and I took notes, you told me that most people who had HSAs were not managing the HSAs well. And you said I was the exception to the rule. You said people were running out and getting, walking into the stores and buying cough syrup and aspirin and other things like that with their HSA. And then you were confusing FSAs with HSAs. FSAs are flexible spending accounts, and I believe they're use it or lose it at the end of the calendar year. So I completely disagree with you. I believe that people who have HSAs are much more responsible than you think they are. I think they're smarter than you're giving them credit for. And I think that not raising the amount that we can put in the HSA and deduct on the 1040 every year to be commensurate with the amount of the high deductible is wrong and harmful to the public. So I've tried your way. It took a considerable amount of my time, and I want you to watch this whole video to see how painful it was and how time consuming it was, and I don't want you to miss the conclusion. Since you suggested that I not try on my own, but that my best bet would be to get assistance with going through ACA to see how easy it is, as he said, to get health insurance and I get a better deal. Here we are on the website of my hometown library, and they have ACA assistance available, but you have to call. So I'm documenting on the video how much time this is all going to take me, so I'm going to make the call. So guess what? They're closed. So I have to wait 2 more days. Today's Saturday. They closed about a half hour ago. Of course, they didn't list their hours on the website. That would have been helpful when the phone went to call. So I have to wait till Monday. Here we go again. Still waiting. I'm on the phone. Waiting for next available rep. Still on hold. Why do you want to fast forward on the video? Come on, stay with me. Don't fast forward. And I'm going to eat an apple while I wait. Still waiting. Still waiting. I have other work I could be doing, but I don't want to show you that. on the video. Hi, Elizabeth. My name is Gloria. I just took a bite of an apple because I didn't know how long I'd be on hold. Okay, let me finish. I'm so sorry. And I'm wearing a headset. Okay, so I was calling one of the staff members at Senator Durbin's office after talking to somebody briefly at Kirk's office and my congressman's office. Just about something that they changed that they really, to me, they messed it up. Of course, the guy in Durbin's office completely disagreed with me regarding health savings account. So I've had health insurance through, my own private thing. And he thinks that I could save a lot of money by going through the exchange. So I told him, even if I could, I think it will be a pain in the neck. But when we talked about some of my circumstances, because I had my own consulting business for 15 years, I had my own insurance, and, so I know what everything costs for those 15 years, premium and everything. And then I had a job for almost 2 years and had health insurance through them, and then lost the job last March. So, just because of my circumstances, he thought it would be better if I had an appointment with somebody and brought everything with me rather than going to the website. So I found, of course, then he didn't tell me where to go to find that. And I just happened to be on the Wheaton Library. So you're laughing at me. He didn't tell me where to go to find somebody to help me. Yeah, he left that part out. And I'm also documenting all this because I'm going to make it very painful for him to watch in an audio and a video. And right now I do have my little video camera on. Of course, they can't hear you, but it's pointed at where it says on the library website. I just happened to be on the library website and scroll down on the homepage. And I'm like, oh, look at that. And of course it was Saturday. And by the time I called, it was 2:30. And the library should put the hours that you guys have. They got the phone number. Anyway. Everything. So, whether I do it through my business or not, he just thought it'd be a better idea. And then when I saw you have appointments on Wednesdays and Saturdays, I thought, well, maybe a Wednesday would be a better day. And I didn't realize, because we had this conversation right before Christmas, and he said, yeah, you actually have till like February 15th. Is that right? Okay. So I already have coverage. We just renewed, for some astronomical price because people didn't realize how expensive it was going to be. And plus, I ended up having, instead of staying on Cobra, because I had no health issues, I got my own when I lost the job. And they covered me through April. And then I got my own. And then I had a back issue happen. And, of course, the deductible is just out of this world. So anyway, and then they didn't match the HSA amount that you could put in and deduct on your 1040, and he and I completely disagree about the whole thing with that. So that said, I'm calling to see if I can make an appointment, and then of course it says on here I'm going to find out on the call what documents I need to bring. Okay. Sure. Yes. 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 Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Sure. Now I realize I have the video on, but I can get rid of that audio. Yes. Phone would be great. Mm-hmm. Well, I'm just thinking Saturdays will get taken up. Oh, the 13th of January? That's a Tuesday. That's a Tuesday. They don't list Tuesdays as being a day. Okay. Really? You have a 10 o'clock? Because, so the library, their website is probably wrong then, right? It's probably as people are available on your side and then they just get booked into the system. Because the library website says Wednesdays from 3 p.m. to 7 p.m. So just wanted to double check that. So the 7th, a 10 o'clock appointment, and it says, tell me if this is accurate, that appointments last between an hour and a half. Mine might be a little, I don't have a complicated situation, but I have an unusual situation, so who knows, it might take the hour and a half. Plus, I ask a lot of questions. Yeah. So a 10 o'clock appointment, I'd be out of there by noon or before. Okay, let's do a 10 o'clock on the 7th. And where do I go there? Do you know? Or do I need to go inside and ask? Okay, so go in and ask. And I'm asking where the representatives are with the ACA. Okay. Yeah, okay. Maybe they don't want signs. Maybe they don't want people to ask. Oh, yeah, I know where the library is. Okay. Okay. Hang on. Sir. Okay. Card. Okay. Okay, which I don't have. So, okay, so 2013. 2013 tax return. And I'm unemployed, so I'd have none of that. Right? Okay, so my last paid invoice. Okay. Okay. Okay, so my last Blue Cross Blue Shield invoice that I paid. Oh, or card. Okay. Okay, so I don't have to bring the invoice. I always have the card with me. Okay. Okay. So, not anymore. That's only 6 months, you know. Well, there's no verification that I'm not. because I haven't done the 2014 income, that it's January 5th, so I haven't done my 1040 for 2014, so you can't have that, so there's no proof. There won't be proof till I get that done. So what do they want as proof? So here's the first conundrum. What do they want? No, there's nothing. What do you show? I mean, think about it. Stop and think about it for a moment. What do you show at this time of year? I know, but I need for you to think this through instead of them sending me back home and going, oh, well, the woman should have told you to bring this. Well, what do you bring? What's there to show? Well, that doesn't make sense. The question doesn't even make sense. Well, then I don't know what to bring. And I'm informing you that it doesn't exist. So I don't know what you're talking about. Of course it doesn't exist. Yeah, but it doesn't exist. There's no coverage for the service. What do you mean by that statement? You mean there's no cost? Okay, coverage is the wrong word, I think. Right? I'm putting a big question mark with a big asterisk. Proof of being unemployed. There's no proof. Until I would do the 2014 1040, where you'd kind of see, well, it'd only be the backup because the state will send me some kind of 1099 or of some type saying, oh, well, we paid you this. But that ended in 6 months because you only get it for 6 months. So that was September. So how do they know that I don't have a job right now that I got after the employment was over? I mean, like, what's the proof? I don't. So they're telling you to ask me a question, but the question isn't smart. It's like they didn't think that through. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, but it's over. It's 6 months and then you're done. Yeah. Well, I would have gotten that letter in like April, but how does that prove what's going on in January? It doesn't make any sense. Well, there's no proof. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, but you're not telling me what's required, so I don't understand for that. Yeah. And I'm telling you there's nothing. "90 days of employer." Well, I didn't have an employer. And unemployment was over at the end of, let's see, by the time I applied, so early October. So that's been 90 days. So I don't know what they're going to want because they're not being specific with you, so you can't tell me what they really want. Okay, so I'm telling you, if they ask you for feedback from your phone calls, this would be a big piece of feedback. Then I'm going to show up and they're going to go, oh, well, she should have told you this. Bring that. Well, okay. I'm asking the questions. Yeah. Yeah, well, yeah. I think I'm going to show up and they're going to go, well, go home and go get this. Well, all right. Well, not really, but okay. Okay. Bye. Well, that was interesting. Okay, so more time now. I'm having to take more notes, so I challenge her to think through this. My 2014 1040 won't be done for a while. Unemployment compensation was for 6 months. It was like April to October 2014. She said they want the last 90 days of income. Proof of that. That's laugh out loud funny. LOL. There is no proof. Okay, so that's the end of my notes for today. All right, I hope you can see me. I made my appointment through my county, and the appointment was on a Wednesday at 10 o'clock. You all heard that. And then they even called me to confirm that my appointment was on Wednesday at 10 a.m. Please be there 10 minutes early. So I arrived, and I asked at the information desk where I was to meet the ACA person, and they didn't know. And they asked another person who didn't know. And that person called the individual who's in charge of coordinating the ACA people coming over from the county to meet with people like me. And they said there's no one here. So first I'm going to go meet with the person at the library who coordinates this, because she's very frustrated with everything that's gone on with ACA. And then I'm going to call the county back and say, hey, where's your person? Actually, I'm calling the county now first. I don't know if you can see me. I'm waiting for the next rep. Hi, Raquel. My name is Glenn, and I had called 2 days ago, and I spoke to your colleague, Elizabeth, and she set up an appointment for me for today at 10 o'clock at the Wheaton Library. So I arrived, and no one at the library knows about anybody from ACA being here. No, I'm saying, where's your person? What system? Well, I can't see your database. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. They can't see your database, first of all. And secondly, someone from your department called me yesterday to confirm the appointment for today at 10 o'clock. I wasn't given a name. I wasn't given a room number. The library doesn't have access to their database. Now I'm on hold again. Okay, meanwhile, while I'm on hold, the library staff member I was talking to on the first floor also works part-time for Cadence at one of their urgent care facilities. She told me that for 2014, all the people who signed up for health care through ACA, through the exchange, whether they got Blue Cross Blue Shield, whether they got some gold plan or whatever, if they bought through the exchange, they were not covered at any Cadence facility, not the hospital, not the urgent care, not any of the doctors. None of them. And they were all surprised when they showed up at Cadence and found out that they were out of network. Unbelievable. So this past summer, I was at Cadence, right? Summer and fall, for some appointments with on the orthopedic side. And no one knows for 2015 who's going to be covered and who isn't, because now Northwestern bought Cadence, and everything's in flux, and nobody knows what's going on. So that was a surprise. Still on hold. Well, it's terrible. No, that's not okay. Well, that doesn't make any sense. So what am I supposed? I make an appointment and nobody shows up and you can't do anything about it? That's very bizarre. Well, if you reschedule it, what good does that do if nobody's here? So I'm documenting what's happening here because I'm challenging someone in my senator's office. Okay, now she's putting me on hold again without listening to what I had to say. So what she said was, all they do at this phone number that you call is schedule appointments with apparently people who don't show up. And then they have no way of knowing or helping somebody like me who shows up for an appointment and there's nobody here. And she just wants to know if I want to reschedule. I said, reschedule with who? The person who doesn't show up? What is that? So, very strange. Now she put me on hold again. I don't know why. Broken business processes. Still on hold, Mr.
Still on hold. Gosh, let's see how much time this has taken up of my time this morning. Let's see, I left the house 45 minutes ago. So 45 minutes of wasted time so far. Still on hold. What are you looking at up there? How long have I been on this call? 12 minutes. Seems like longer. Yes? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So what's the point of having you guys in the role you're in? Because you're taking appointments for people and people don't show up. So what's the whole point of your job? Mm-hmm. They don't. They don't know who was supposed to be here, because my next thing is I'm going to talk to the person who coordinates for the library with you all, and the person downstairs told me that the individual, her name is illustrated with your department. So I'm going to talk to her next. Oh, but it is. Because you all, it's your people coming to the library to meet with people. Yeah. 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 But who's they? They are people from the county. They're not people from the library. So who from the county? You're not with the county? So you're an outside call center that the county has contracted with. Is that what you're saying? Okay. They are, and hang on. Okay, you don't have to tell me the same thing. I just have to document what you're saying. So you're an outside call center. Outside of the county. Outside of the county, of DuPage County. And in other words, hang on, let me finish. So the database you're all referring to is shared with the DuPage County. And so I know, wait, stop. So the way the database is set up with open appointments at dates and times and places, that is a database set up by the county, and then you access it to make appointments. Got it. Okay, so this is a DuPage County problem. County, so outside of DuPage County, but you share a database so that you can get in there, look at what's open, and schedule for the people who call in. Okay, but they have to set up the database with the open dates and times and places so that you can then go in there and schedule people. So if they open something up, it means they have a body ready to take that one, right? Okay, so it's someone at the county. Got it. Okay, so I need to find out from Courtney here at the library who her contact is at the county, because I'm not talking to the county. I'm talking to, you're a middleman. Got it. All right. Well, thank you for clarifying that. Okay, thank you. Bye now. Okay, it's almost been an hour. I decided to call them, and that's what I've been doing instead of talking to you first. But when you call that number, finally they told me, they're just a middleman, they're just a call center, they're not the county. So when you call that number that's on your website, that's not DuPage County, that's a call center, and they share a database. So apparently the county puts the database together, here are the dates and times people are available and the places, and then the call center takes the calls and slots people in.
Okay.
So the county is the bad people, apparently, not sending somebody. They even called me yesterday to confirm my appointment was today at 10 o'clock. I go, really? Because when I look at the website on the Wheaton Public Library, it doesn't say you have openings on Wednesday mornings. She goes, but we do. It's in here in the system. But again, that was a call center. So downstairs, they told me.
Well, I mean, we have a table at 3, which,
that's not an appointment.
Right. I mean, they might be able to, enroll you.
Yeah.
But it's not.
Well, and here's the thing. So my whole thing of doing this, I already have insurance, but I had my own insurance for 15 years as a consultant. Then I was an employee for 2 years, and then I lost my job in March. And instead of going on COBRA, I went on my own with my same guy, and then had a health issue, and then realized what Obamacare really did. So I've been challenging our representative and our senators. So my rep, he's all over. He's like, I totally agree. House Ways and Means, I totally agree. And basically what I was saying was, if you have an HSA plan, it used to be that the amount of the deductible, it's called a high deductible, but the amount you could put in your HSA every year and deduct off your 1040 was about equal, a little bit more. So now the deductible's up here, but they didn't raise this. So I'm calling them to just talk about that, not even to talk about all the other problems. And so like I said, my rep's office, Kirk's office, they were like, yeah, I understand what you're saying. Durbin, I got, sorry, the man on the phone, and he's going to hate it when I say that, but I'm documenting this whole process. So we just both think each other's wrong, So basically he was telling me, people have HSAs, he goes, you're the exception to the rule, but most of them were too stupid to know what they were doing and spent money. But then he was confusing FSA with HSA. I'm like, that's an FSA, not an HSA. Anyway. So he challenged me that I could save money and all stuff if I went through the exchange. But then he said, because of the circumstances I have, he said, I suggest that you meet with somebody rather than just go online.
Yeah.
But then he didn't tell me where to meet people. So then I just happened to be on your website a few days ago, and I was like, oh, look, they have appointments. So I called the number, and they said, oh, yeah, let me look in the database. Oh, we got one on Wednesday morning at 10 o'clock. Well, then I'm downstairs.
At Wheaton Public Library, they said?
Yeah. They're giving me the address. I know the address. You want to give me the address. But they didn't tell me the time that they weren't the county that I was talking to. They were just a call center.
Yeah.
She didn't tell me that till like 5 minutes ago, and she's had me on the phone for 15 minutes.
Oh, that they
So,
weren't. Okay.
yeah, because she's like, I can't help you with somebody not showing up. And I'm like, well, then your process isn't
Well,
broken.
then they have incorrect information
Yeah,
in
and
that
their
call
and
center
their
in that
process-
database.
Well, she should have told me we're just the middleman.
Yeah,
You need
yeah.
They don't have any contact at the county, which
To
they wondered
call.
if you had a contact.
Oh
with
yeah,
the
I
county.
do.
Good.
I think she's still on vacation. I mean,
For me to call to go to kind of read them the Riot Act to say if you guys open up your database and people saw it, you got to have a body
Well,
shot.
and I'm not super surprised that it is a call center and it's not that,
That they
it's
hired
an
somebody out.
and it's an 888 number.
Because otherwise
it's
they
not
have
a
to
630.
they have to hire people. Otherwise.
Enroll DuPage does have a 630 number, and I was a little confused and concerned that it wasn't a local number, but kind of. We did the registration last year, and
For them?
for this,
Oh,
and last year it was kind of a mess too. And the only reason I'm doing this is for people
Just
like you, for
service.
anybody who needs the service, and they've just been completely unorganized, and they showed up on a Friday
You're like,
when
today's
we had
a
nothing
Saturday?
going on, and my manager emails me, and it was my day off, and like, I think they're training in there, and I emailed them saying, like, you can't just show up on a day we didn't agree on, and they were so apologetic. This never happens, and it's like,
Never.
oh, you know what? They just have the 888
Oh,
number
they
on their
do, okay.
website too. So
Okay.
that's what
So yeah, they hired out
probably
to
so
do
they
that.
don't have to deal with it. But they have
Yeah,
something in.
but they set
Yeah,
up
Wednesday
the
morning
database.
is completely off, and
Yeah.
you're the first one that I've even heard this problem.
Okay, interesting. So meanwhile, I was
wondering
talking to a
how
lady
they got
downstairs,
that.
and she said, by the way, she goes, I work part-time for Cadence. She said, it might be completely different for 2015. We don't know. And she said, for 2014, anybody buying insurance through the exchanges, even if it was Blue Cross Blue Shield Gold, it showed up at Cadence, Urgent Care, whatever. They're not covered.
No kidding.
They were out of network for Cadence, for all of Cadence.
Yeah, and they weren't
So,
covered.
but she said for 2015 it's early, and then Northwestern merged with Cadence, so nobody knows. So if you buy through the exchange, are you going to be covered over at Central DuPage Hospital? And I recently had some physical therapy and that over at the orthopedic office that was bought out by Cadence. And there's a really great guy over there in administration. I'm going to call him and just get his take on it. Because I texted my insurance agent this morning, like, listen to what I'm going to go do. And he didn't get back to me. But, for me to get a policy with him and for him to walk through it with me, usually we just do it over the phone. We actually met for lunch. What is it, an hour? He bought me lunch. We're done. It just doesn't take any time. Maybe it's worth paying the extra money just for peace of mind and the short amount of time. But like I said, I'm documenting this because I want the guy over at Durbin's office to listen and to, you know, I'm videotaping, I'm audio taping, I'm documenting so he can see how painful it is. And this is supposed to be the easy part. The surprises are supposed to come later. Like when you show up at Cadence and then you're not covered and it's out of network, or, you know, some other goofy thing later. I have to dig up an article I read in the Tribune because it's like, oh, I've never heard of that before. So this woman, she bought last year easily online, got a Blue Cross Blue Shield plan without work, got a job, and then was put on to their medical, which was also Blue Cross Blue Shield. So she called Blue Cross Blue Shield. She's like, okay, I need to cancel this plan with you. And now I'm on this plan. And they're like, no, you can't cancel. You can cancel it, but not through us. You have to go through Obamacare to do it. Well, then that ended up being a multi-month nightmare just to cancel it.
Wow.
And of course, the guy in Durbin's office, I've never heard of that before. I'm like,
Of course you,
now I've got to go find that article from the Tribune and hope a Tribune writer wrote it, but it could have been somebody with the Washington Post for all I know.
Well, you can search our Chicago Tribune database
right.
on the library's website.
Yeah, that might be, as long as I'm here.
Yeah, you totally should. And that's the fastest, easiest way just to do a key search.
Yeah.
Well, you can do it from home too,
But
using your library card.
Sometimes the article. Oh, yeah.
But sometimes the Google search won't.
Yeah.
I mean,
or
sometimes
the
it will.
search. Yeah, it doesn't come up.
But yeah, I mean, we have the Tribune like database that searches the newspapers.
So. Where is that on all of that?
Yeah, or you can do it from home. Just go to our website.
Okay, yeah, I do.
So you can do that.
I finally borrowed an ebook.
Oh yeah.
I got a Kindle, and I'm like, I should borrow an ebook. Go online and do that, and I did it.
Totally.
Yeah, it's interesting.
So you figured it out?
Some books would be checked out, and I'm like,
on Overdrive, a lot of them are.
Put this one on hold, and I'm like,
yeah,
on hold. It's electronic, but it's whatever service you use, right?
And then it's the digital rights. We only have access to one at a time. So yeah, I wish it was different, but it's kind of like a regular
Someday
book.
it will be. Someday it will be.
Just open enrollment period.
Sure.
And I mean, they wanted to come every single Saturday, every Wednesday, and I'm like, all right, let's do like 2 Saturdays a month. And I think it's been okay with the enrollments, but with this kind of scheduling stuff, I mean, this is ridiculous. Especially, it's like below zero.
I know. I'm glad it wasn't snowing. I might have canceled.
Angry that they did this.
Yeah. And even if that person, let's say that person had kids and their kids' school was canceled or something happened, like, there's no way, they have no process in place or procedure for that person to contact somebody who then contacts me.
Right, exactly. Well,
they're all about, if you need to cancel, you know, if I needed to cancel, they're like, you gotta call us. I'm like, okay, I will.
It's like,
oh, you're writing it down for me. Okay.
Yeah, it's easier. Page health.
Fantastic.
And that is all one word. Wait,
Okay.
and read my
no.
handwriting. She's back from vacation.
Oh, she answered an email?
Well, I emailed her saying, you guys showed up on a day that's not on our calendar. I mean, what if we had the room booked for something?
Oh, we absolutely.
And she's just,
and you got these
and
people
she's like, well, we
them.
apologize if we disturbed, and I'm on vacation from this date, so email this person. And I'm like, well,
and it's
yes.
Is this word?
It's Nina.
That, her real name.
Yeah.
For the
the 9TA.
Okay. Do page health. Thank you.
She's a navigator, and she took over someone else. I also have a manager, her supervisor, if you want her to.
Yes.
You know what? Let me just print these out for you,
Okay.
so you don't have to decipher them.
Okay.
She said, contact me. But yeah, this whole thing just makes me angry now. And it's like, do we even want to do this,
Well, the other thing you wonder is, how hard could it be? If you give them dates and times, how hard could it be if they've got a database that they're...
I mean, we do have the table at 3. I saw on their website they had it at 2:30.
But I need an individual person to talk to.
Well, and I think they can do that at the table. I mean, because I don't think
But
they have
I don't know
questions and stuff.
anything.
But the actual enrollment, if you want to sit down and go into it with your documents, those are on Saturdays. And I'm like shocked that they got it wrong.
Who's they? What about the scheduling call center? Yeah. Now, they told me this, and by they, I mean your outside call center that we get on the phone when we call the 888. They said the database is shared with you all and with them, and that you all put together the open appointments. And then they access the open appointments and fill them as people call in. Now, what was your name again? You're not the name I was given by the library as being in charge of this. I was given. I can't come today. Okay, I can only have the morning because I have somebody coming to my house in the afternoon. Okay, and anyway, obviously there's a broken business process somewhere, because if you all have access to that database to set up when the open appointments are, date, time, and place, and all the call center's doing is scheduling people into it, then you guys need to own that. They were telling me that they can't just open up slots in the schedule. They only put people into open slots. And again, it's a database that you all share with them. Okay, so the other thing is, the reason I'm doing this, so I already have insurance. I had my own insurance for 15 years. I was a consultant. Then I took a job for 2 years and had their insurance. Then I was laid off in March and decided to not go on COBRA but get my own, and of course the cost is so expensive. Plus, what I brought up with my congressional representative and my our two senators, I should say, is not the whole Obamacare problem, but just the health savings account issue, where they didn't increase the amount that we can put into a health savings account every year, commensurate with the amount that the deductible went up. So they went, high deductible plans went from a $2,600 deductible to a $6,000 deductible. So that's all I was calling about. And I got a guy on the phone at Senator Durbin's office, and he and I disagreed with one another. And he also thought that I could save a lot more money than by going through my own insurance agent for my own policy. Okay, so this is his challenge. And he thought that because I had some unusual circumstances, it would be better if I talked to one of the, what do you call the people who meet with people like me? Yeah. Okay, stop. He thought it would be better for me to have an appointment with someone rather than just to go online and apply. Okay, so that was the whole thing. And then he didn't tell me where to go to find one of these people. And I just happened to be on the Wheaton Library website over the weekend and saw, oh my gosh, they have appointments here. And I called the number on Monday morning, and they had a slot open on today at 10 o'clock, and then they called me yesterday to confirm, make sure you're there on time, and if you need to cancel, please call. Of course, they didn't tell me nobody was going to show up. So, meanwhile, No, I haven't. You know what? I'm gonna have to take this call. I've got another call that I got to take. Okay. Thanks. Bye. Hello, this is. Hi. Thanks for calling me. Was that just you calling on my other phone too? Okay. I was talking to somebody from DuPage County. I actually have a guy who at Senator Durbin's office who was challenging. He and I totally disagree with one another on healthcare, but he challenged me to try to sign up through the Affordable Care Act and the exchanges anyway, but thought, because I had some unusual circumstances, he thought that I should go through one of the, let's call him a counselor, where you meet one-on-one with somebody rather than going online. So he didn't tell me, he's going to get so ticked of me saying this over and over, but he didn't tell me where to find these people, and I just happened to be on the Wheaton Library website over the weekend. So I called on Monday, and I made an appointment for today, and I show up, and there's nobody there. So meanwhile, I'm talking to a librarian, and she said she also works part-time for Cadence at an urgent care facility. And she said, let me tell you what happened in 2014. She goes, I don't know what's going to happen in 2015. But she said in 2014, people would show up at urgent care or wherever at Cadence, and they'd have a plan that they got through the exchange. Could have even been the gold plan with Blue Cross Blue Shield, and then they'd be surprised to find out that Cadence wasn't in their network. So she said, for 2015, it's still early. I don't know what's going to happen. And then with Cadence merging with Northwestern, I don't know if they're going to be in network or not. She goes, but no one who bought through the exchanges was covered at Cadence, at least not in the network. So she goes, it was a huge surprise. And I'm like, I got to call he knows about this. So before I go forward, because I already have insurance, it's more expensive. But do you know anything about that? Within Cadence, if they could, I'm looking for somebody inside Cadence who can tell me the story, not only the story for 2014, but the story for 2015. Because why should I waste my time? Going through my own insurance agent, it takes me 5 minutes. Oh, maybe it was an hour. He took me to lunch, the day after Thanksgiving. So, that's how much time it takes me. Yeah, it's more expensive, but I know what I'm getting. There are no surprises. And it doesn't take up a lot of my time. So far this is, just going through Senator Durbin's staff members' way. It's becoming a waste of my time, and now it's becoming a point of concern that if I would go through and get, this great plan through ACA and save money, that I show up at Cadence one day and they're like, yeah, you're on a network. Or anywhere. I don't, because I haven't gone online, and then they blew me off today because there's a disconnect in the business process between the schedulers, because the county is the group that provides the counselors, and they'll meet at libraries or whatever and set up. And then the number that we call, that's an 888 number, is an outside call center. So they said to me, we're just accessing a database that's maintained by the county with dates and times and places, and we just slot people in. But if people don't show up, that's the problem at the county. And I was on the phone. Somebody called me from the county just now, and that's who I was talking to when you called me. And I was I didn't even expect them to call me, but obviously the library lady read them the riot act because she's really tired of it. And tired of them not knowing what they're doing. And sometimes they send people over on days where, there's not even a plan for anybody to come. And, like a bunch of people they'll send over, not just one to meet with me. But she said even if they sent one over today, we didn't have a room reserved for them. So there's some disconnect there, and they're blaming each other. It's just, and I'm documenting all this because the guy in Senator Durbin's office thinks I'm wrong, and I think he's wrong. So the only way for me to prove that he's wrong or to prove that I'm wrong is to go through the process and document it. But if there's going to be a concern, even if it was so easy to sign up, I don't want a down the stream thing where the one hospital and huge hospital network out by me doesn't cover me. What's the point? Paying a little bit more and being secure. And it's reminding me last year, a little more than a year ago, I remember Ann process because she's self-employed, and she went through all the different plans and found out all the hospitals in her area. She'd be out of network for all of them. And since then, I haven't heard anybody mention it until today when the librarian who works at Cadence mentioned it to me. So if there's somebody in Cadence who could give me some information about this, exactly, and what department they'd be in, and yeah. Right, and what department, and yeah, all right. Okay, somebody will. Okay, thanks, Steve. Okay, bye. I don't know what you're looking at. I just have to set the camera down when I'm doing this stuff. All right, so that was fun. So the county has no idea what's going on. They don't know what happened. They're trying to blame, the county's trying to blame the call center for taking appointments on dates and times when they don't have anybody available. But that doesn't make sense because the database is owned by the county, and the telephone call center people are just accessing the database. So very bizarre and time consuming. Hi, Robin. I'm back. Oh. In the database, you mean? Oh. Okay. Let's see. Well, yeah, well, that was today because I have somebody coming this afternoon to fix something. So, let's see, possibly Monday the 12th? Are you? Okay. They do. Okay, could it, how about 1:30? It's board. Oh. I am. Blue Cross Blue Shield. No. This time around since May. Yes. Yes. I am, but okay, I'll just give you the narrow plan of what happened. So I was on my own with my own company for 15 years, and then I took a job in May of 2012, and I dropped that insurance and was on the employer's. Then I was laid off at the end of March, and of course had the option to go on COBRA or to go with my own, and I decided to, because it was earlier in the year, let's see, they covered me through the end of April, so I probably saved, I think, $1,600 in premium by going with my own plan, back with my regular insurance agent. And yeah, and of course then but the high deductible plans have gone from $2,600, which is what they used to be when I was on my own, to $6,000. So I started a whole little campaign with my representative and our 2 senators to say, why did you not, and how about if you do, increase the amount that we can put in the HSA to equal, because it used to be just a little bit more than the deductible. Well, it always was, the whole idea of the HSA was to incent you to save, and it rolls over every year, and then if you have dental or whatever, you can pay. So the high deductible was $2,600, and then you could put in about $3,000, and then it inch up every year. But at $6,000, it should be around $7,000 that we can put in. And so Peter Oscom, he totally gets it. So does his staff. So does House Ways and Means. And they're like, no, the Democrats don't want it. So I'm like, well, let me go after the senators. So at Kirk's office, they're like hard to get a hold of. And I finally get a hold of this guy, and he's going to get so tired because I'm documenting everything for him. So we both think each other's wrong. He kept confusing FSAs with HSAs, which is just going to tick him off when I say that, but he was. And he was talking about how people have HSAs and they don't know how to spend the money, and I'm the exception to the rule because I would manage my own. I would use it to manage my own health care and just save up money to, if something big happened, like, again, you can pay for dental, and dental can be very expensive if you don't have dental insurance, and even if you do. So he disagreed. People are running out and buying aspirin, and, I'm like, no, they're doing that with the FSA. Anyway, so he said I would save so much money, and it's so easy, and there aren't any surprises, and the surprises are small that people have. So me looking into this, and he thought because I have certain circumstances, and he's like, well, you might be able to do it through your business, but my business doesn't make a lot of money now because I was, employed, and I keep looking for a job now and just have little bits of income in the business, and I'm writing 2 books and blah, blah, blah. So I have more expenses, in the business than I have income. But he said because of my circumstances, it'd probably be better if I met with one of the ACA counselors rather than go online and just sign up. Yeah. So, so I thought, well, great idea. He didn't this is going to tick him off too, but I keep telling people, he didn't tell me how to find these people. And I was on the library website over the weekend. I thought, oh, they have people. So I called on Monday. So that's how I found out, how to call and find out about where you can meet with people for help with this. So meanwhile, I found out today that through Cadence, because Cadence is really big in our area, that a Cadence employee was telling me that in 2014, people would show up at the urgent care place where she works and find out, and they had bought insurance, even a gold plan, let's say, through the exchange, and they weren't covered, or at least they were out of network. And they had no idea they were out of network where Cadence was concerned. But now it's early 2015, Cadence and Northwestern merged, so nobody knows right now if you buy through the exchange, if you're going to be covered in Cadence. So I ran home and I called one of the smartest people I know at Cadence, who's been really helpful to me this year because I ended up having a back issue. And I was talking with Maggie. Called me to return my call. Like, oh, I got to take this call. So he's going to look into finding out if Cadence is even part of any group that you pick from the insurance and the exchanges. Yeah, so that was the first that I had heard of that. Yeah, I don't use choice. Oh. Yes, which is weird because in United Healthcare, if you pick choice, there's more. And my insurance agent and I were laughing because this is the first time I've been with Blue Cross Blue Shield in a long time. I was with United Healthcare at my employer, and even before that on my own, I was with United Healthcare for a long time. And so I said, oh, so in Blue Cross Blue Shield, choice is worse. He goes, right. So are you seeing through the exchanges they were picking choice, not realizing... Was there any other choice? No pun intended. They could. Which is what my insurance agent would do. Oh, I see. And checking what the hospitals take. Right. Mm-hmm. They have to stay. Yeah. You can't say, oh, well, let me find something new, and May 1st I'll just switch over. Well, let me ask you this real quick, too, because when I made the appointment, the woman was telling me what to bring: birth certificate, social security card, my last tax return, which, of course, is 2013, and then my Blue Cross Blue Shield card, which I'll have, of course. Okay, so of course it's 2013, and then she said I had to bring proof of being unemployed. I'm like, what proof? What proof is there? I'm not going to have my 2014 tax return till later. Okay. Okay. Sure. Who aren't covered at work? Yeah. It's so unusual. Yeah. Correct, and it never was, because even when I had it before, my company is not a C corp. I mean, it's an S corp. It's not a Schedule C. And so back then, the company paid for the insurance. Now I'm paying for it personally. Yeah. And then if my circumstances would change, if my next books, take off, and all of a sudden I'm getting speaking engagement, then I'll just stay with that and not get the job. But meanwhile, yeah, I have to cast my bread upon every bit of water out there and see what happens. So, for the business, yeah, I do. Okay. Okay. Mm-hmm. Mm. Mm-hmm. Okay. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. No. It's, yeah. Hmm. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay. And then we can just meet in the entryway over there. Yeah. Okay. Thanks. Oh, no. Thanks for calling. Okay. Bye. Okay, so that was nice. So the manager called me to set an appointment with me. So we'll talk about it a little bit more. But meanwhile, hopefully I'll find out more about the whole cadence thing. But how much time have I spent on this so far? A lot. Someone at clerk's office. Yeah, we talked about this? Okay, so this is the young man who, in Durbin's office, who challenged me. We both think each other's wrong. And
He had FSA in his head.
that was part of it. But he thinks that I'll save so much money and be so much happier and blah, blah, blah if I go this way instead of the way that I already have. So, of course, I think he's wrong. But
So here's what I need you to do.
Yes.
Just give me a name, address, and phone number.
Okay.
Just so I can prove I was out
Okay.
doing something.
Oh, okay.
And then Gloria.
Yeah.
And how do you spell your last name? B-O-R. This just
Do you
says,
need the whole thing?
just address and phone number. This just says that I don't work for the government. I don't work for an insurance company. And that I'm
Okay.
getting your consent before I start asking questions about your life, liberty, and money. Which that has turned out to be kind of one of the interesting parts of this job. obviously what they can do with so little.
Oh.
It's just like families who have like 6 kids.
Yeah, and you're thinking, how are you making it on that income?
Right. They do. So, so this is your tax from last year, right? But you said
This
it's
is-
not into particular, right?
Right, because I was working the whole year.
Correct. Now you're self-employed 100%, correct?
Well, you can call that.
When did the W-2 stop?
I was paid through the end of April
Okay.
of this year, of 2014. I'm
That's
sorry.
right.
You know what I mean? I still think it's 2014.
Okay.
Yeah, of the year that the tax return isn't going to be done.
And this is what you're.
Oh, yeah, so this is not final. So when you see this, though, I do have an outside consultant who works for me, and I throw it in here, but when I do my taxes, it's cost of sales. But that's not my income, that's her consulting income. So,
What does she do for you?
she works part-time as an auditor, and she's an incredible auditor, and she bills out a great rate, and then I get them complaining. I'm like, really? You're paying $150 an hour to $200 for you know why?
So, help me again.
Yes.
She audits your clients'
No,
businesses?
no. My company has the agreement with the customer. She didn't want to start her own corporation or LLC. She had stressful time. She's like, no. So when she was billing them as a sole proprietor, they would switch her over to either or. And just to give you the short story, because she has a pension from where she retired, she has health insurance through them. She not only cannot work for somebody else and just say, no, I have insurance and turn it down, she can't even qualify because her former employer will find that out and will cut her off of her fantastic plan. So she has to be ineligible no matter what she does. So, she started as corporate LLC. So we built
So
in my
how-
company.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
So the revenue for her goes to your company, but
Yeah.
then when you pay her, doesn't that show up somehow?
Yeah, it's right here.
And whatever you give her.
Oh, it's a 1099. And she doesn't qualify for a home.
Oh, I got it.
Yeah.
And she doesn't have to declare that 1099
Oh, yeah.
to her
That's
employer.
income.
But not,
She is her employer. She's
but
self-employed.
I'm not the previous one that gives her health insurance.
No. They just say part of their agreement with her, she cannot qualify for another employer's plan because they'll cut her off.
That's
Yeah,
okay.
it's
That's why I
not
was
like,
trying to clarify.
yeah. So it's a really interesting, and she had 2 attorneys review the agreement where you qualify. So the funny thing is they've never reached out to me to say, you should qualify for a plan. Of course I'd say no.
Well, you don't have a plan.
Yeah, well, not, yeah.
Not for employees.
Yeah, right. So anyway, yeah, so because I've been so focused on finding another job, I haven't been focused on consulting. And it's one of these things where, I'm thinking about pushing that again, and I have another book coming out in a few months, and, if I could get a big push on that. This book is get out of that and work with that and figure out what to do. Yeah.
Were you in HR?
No,
You just
HR people aren't going to like my book.
So, this 2013 is for 12 months. I'll look at the same place.
Yeah, that looks low. Why is that? 2013? I made a lot more than that. But anyway.
So, a third of this is what you would have made in 2014.
Yes.
And you said you're single, right?
Yes.
Okay. So, well, you're all set to almost done with the tax day, aren't you?
Well, I used to do it myself, but because I took some money out of an annuity, I reached out to a friend and like, what do you think I should do?
A taxable annuity or a non-tax annuity?
It's taxable. I mean, it's not taxable during the year.
Let's see how there's two different ways annuities can show up on your taxes, either 16A or 16B. Do you have any idea how it was set up? The money that
The
you-
whole amount is taxable, just the way the money works. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I don't know if I'm going to be penalized. So a friend of mine was like, well, I just buy TurboTax.
TurboTax, yeah, it's not.
So
expensive.
I decided to do that. If he says to do it, and he said, I don't know if this is going to be true because other people have been telling me, no, you're going to get the 10% penalty. But he said you'll be asked the question, did you take this out? How did he word it? To pay your health insurance premium. And there might be another question, did you take it out because you're unemployed? And he said, it'll be waived. I said, all right.
And
But it's
are
all
you above or below 59 and a half?
well,
So you have a possible penalty of 15.
possibly, but he's saying
Was it set up as a SEP IRA or just?
no, it's not a SEP IRA. It's just set up as an annuity.
Is it one thing
Against
that
what I wanted.
you only have to be in it like 7 years and then you can pull from it? This is one of those you have to leave it alone.
Yes, and one of the IRS guidelines said one way to avoid the penalty is to take an equal amount out on a regular basis. But my financial guy is like, you don't want to do that because you're going to have to take it out until it depletes. He goes, if you get a job next week or even 6 months from now, you want to start. Yeah, so then.
Once you set it up, you
Yeah.
can't stop.
So the other friend of mine, he's the guy who
Yeah, a
worked
lot
for
of good
me.
friends.
Yeah, they're all busy. But he's a CFO. He left the job 7 years ago because the boss, they were doing some illegal, I won't even say in too much detail, and the owner. So he just quit and didn't do the whistleblowing. In between, he worked for HR and I thought, so I don't see this one couple in there talking to him, and attorneys get upset to him. He's like, you're into software? You can come here. It's a little cheaper for you in the end. Anyway, so we'll see if it really is. If it doesn't ask me the question, then I'm going to be calling it friend of mine.
Yeah, but I think
Yes.
just show you something. Obviously, no matter what, it's pretty safe to say that your income is not going to be the same. You're correct.
You mean 2013 to 2014?
If I could
Oh,
compare
right.
this
Oh,
to
yeah.
2014.
Yeah.
Because if I take
Yeah.
the 4 months,
Mhm.
if I use this,
Mm-hmm.
okay, 'cause
Right.
there's hardly anything else here.
Right.
If I take your negative pullover from the export,
Mm-hmm.
if I take your 15,000, then you're ended up around here.
Yep.
Sounds about right, right?
I always do an estimate on Excel to
Yeah.
see how much they're going to owe me or if I'm going to owe
Right.
them.
And how to go.
Well, if I don't have the penalty, it looks like I'm going to owe them about $500, and I'm fine with that. If I owe them the penalty, it'll be another $1,500, it'll be $2,000. And that's why I thought, I actually, before I came here,
It's so true.
yeah,
I would
and I,
totally agree with that.
yeah.
Now, one of the things I'm going to do for you is I'm going to just assume that your household income for 2015 is going to be the same because there's really no way in your case to do anything else.
Yeah.
You're truly one of those people that life has not unfolded, and who knows where
Yeah.
you're going to be.
Right.
So how is that going to happen? And are you a smoker?
No.
Are you a parent of anybody?
Parent?
No. Okay. And are you pregnant?
No.
I didn't think so. But you already have health coverage, but it's not from an employer, correct?
Correct.
Okay. Yes, I don't think you're going to be eligible for that. That's on that website.
Eligible for.
Cost savings and stuff. That'll
Oh,
make sense for you.
okay.
Now, you said you're covered,
Mm-hmm.
and your company now is, which company do you use for health insurance? Blue Cross Blue Shield?
Yeah,
Like a,
yeah. I
Okay.
got people Blue Blue Shield this time.
And
I
what's
have
your
the silver.
deductible?
That's 6,000.
Okay, you're one of the 6,000.
Mhm.
And is it a bronze plan or a silver plan?
It's bronze. We went with HSA. We did the comparison between gold, silver, and bronze, and just out of pocket between deductible and premium and everything, it still was the cheapest. Even though this guy thinks he doesn't want people else going anymore.
How much do you pay a month?
$455. Yeah, yeah,
Let's look at
that's what it
this.
is now.
Oops, I just lost it. This is Blue Cross Blue Shield bronze this year.
Bronze choice or bronze brown?
This is bronze choice.
No, yeah, choice is good. And I'm trying to get people at Cadence to let me know what they're doing for 2015, which they might not even know because of the merger, and they didn't take it last year. Yeah, they took regular but not choice.
One of the stronger contenders for you is something like Beacon. If you, because of their history with some of the hospitals, if they lose their deductible. What do you think their primary doctor had? Is it strictly co-insurance?
I don't know. No. Well, with the primary, I only had the one visit with them that was considered the wellness, so I
that
don't
was
know
free.
what it was. Yeah, it was. It came through. They booked, since I hadn't seen him in so long, they booked me this really long appointment. We hadn't seen each other in a long time, so we ended up talking a long time. He moved into Maywood, though, so that's why I stopped. I didn't go anything, but well, I have an allergist, I'm a guy and all.
Okay, I'm going to
So-
compare just for a second.
Yeah.
Because it's $337. The deductible's down to $5. This one's down to $4. But it's not a flat primary doctor visit, and it's not a flat emergency room. So,
What is it?
well, for instance, 40% co-insurance after deductible means you have to satisfy a full $4,000 or $5,000, and then it's a certain percentage. Let's think about co-payment, because this is all you're going to make to see a doctor. You're not going to have to satisfy the deductible.
Do the co-payments count against this? They don't.
No, not at all.
Okay.
No, they're just separate.
They do now on this one,
Yeah.
which is interesting. This,
Yeah.
except the HSA one doesn't have co-payments, so
Right.
just silver and gold.
So, anyway, so here's another possibility that you could possibly compare these two. I don't like that. That's not the options. Because obviously it was, okay, it's like, yeah, we're back to choice, but it's a silver now.
Why do they only have choice? Do they have anything but choice?
Yeah, they do.
Oh, they do?
They do. It's just, I don't know what they're doing.
Is that all they're presenting here on the screen?
For you.
For me? Yeah. Well, they have it, but that's not.
Well, really, it's like they're not presenting it to people who don't qualify for tax incentives.
Really?
Not at the price that you're talking about. I can show you Blue Cross Blue Shield without a choice, but it's not going to be $455.
What's it going to be?
I'll show you.
Okay. So,
Because this one right here, this
I'm going to
one
read
is
a note. So
another
for me,
province.
so in other words, for me, a person not getting the tax
Yeah,
incentives,
you make too much for tax incentives.
even unemployed.
And you don't want to do precision, do you, at HMO, Blue Cross?
HMO? No.
Okay. So let's get you to
Tax incentives. It's only.
It's not only, it's just sometimes that's what the permutations seem to give us. Okay, let's see if we can find your Blue Cross plan. Blue Cross. you satisfy the deductible, there's 0. So yeah, this is no change at all for you.
Okay.
Now what's really interesting about it is when you bought your plan, you were making a lot more money.
No, when I bought my plan, it was after I lost the job. So I lost the job, and I decided to not go on Cobra. You know, it was earlier in the year. They were covering me through April, end of April. You know, if it was later in the year, I would have just stayed on Cobra. But by going with my own plan, just on the premiums, I was saving $200 a month times 8 months. Sometimes more. But I did the math. I'm like, that's $600. So then I had a back issue happen in the summer, you know, which took me to Cadence. And I did have a surprise. The only surprise was, you know, oh, the deductible really is $6,000.
So you did have to satisfy that.
Yeah, which of course I didn't. That's a big chunk of money. And
So you didn't do anything about your back, or you did?
oh
or
no,
just
I did all the
pills?
physical therapy and no surgery, but I did all the physical therapy and all the doctor appointments, and then MRI, and then on the MRI they found it spotted. It's a long story, but I ended up having to correct 2 radiologists on their mistakes. It's like, you people don't think too much for me to be correcting your ears. So I ended up having the second one that they can't really tell. Oh my God, the CT scan. So that's when I went to my primary care, finally, and had a talk and did that. So I just have the second ultrasound. He just thinks, he thinks just the reading of it wasn't quite right. And I don't have symptoms. But anyway, so if I had known all these things were going to happen, or if the back thing had already happened when I lost the job, I would have just stayed on Cobra at least till the calendar year.
Yeah.
You know. But it's just interesting that the plan you're finding me here, that's my plan, is the same price. So it's not like my guy inflated it.
No, you totally didn't.
Like he's got, so he gets his commission out of that after, you know, it's
Which is really small because of the way they set it.
really,
It's like 1 or 2%. But you know, still, he did a good job for you.
yeah.
No,
I mean, he had a whole matrix of all these plans, just looking at Blue Cross Blue Shield because they're so
the
accepted.
only matrix that he wouldn't have had, he wouldn't have had any of those,
Right.
because they didn't exist. This was the only one that was not choice, not an agent,
Right.
whatever.
Right.
These 3 are all solid options for you, in which case you could save like $100 on a deductible that's less than $6,000. But, you know, again, you're back to, you're comfortable with your plan, you know, you've got it all set up from that part, so, you know,
Yeah.
and yeah,
And he bought lunch. And he actually would come out here, but I'm like, oh, I'll come out by evening. So here are the questions. So when I was on the phone with the senator's staff member, he was going on and to about business, taxes and business, but you know, so where are you talking?
Small Business Administration.
Through SBA?
Yeah.
For getting a health plan?
No, I'm talking about taxes. That was weird. I thought he was just talking about general overall.
No, he was talking health plan. He was thinking if you do your health plan business, then there are ways.
You can do a small business tax credit. He's correct about that.
Okay. If you buy the insurance through the business.
Like we're having this forum in February to talk exactly about this and have somebody from the small business.
Okay.
Because you have less than 25 FTEs, you don't have any FTEs.
Right.
You're a contractor.
Right.
And you're an escrow. The only question would be, the small business tax credit applies to people who have 25 or less FTEs.
Okay.
So
It is 25 or less.
it is for the small business tax credit, yes. For people buying out of what's called shop, you need to have 25 to 50 FTEs, which of course you don't.
Right.
And people who have 25 or less FTEs also will not have a penalty if they don't offer it to be for the work from. And of course, your person is a contractor, so you don't.
Right. So that's
that anyway.
why when you and I talked, most of the people you see work for those kind of businesses.
Correct. Well, actually, we see it because of restaurants and because of nail salons and hair salons. A lot of times those are not employees.
All the time.
If you have wait staff that's not your family, then you might have W-2s. But for a lot of them, it's going to be 10 days.
Because when we're counting FTEs, we're counting W-2s.
Correct.
Yes.
Because it's 30 hours or more as an FTE.
Yes.
So, from that perspective,
Right.
he's got a bill for that.
Yeah.
Um,
So are there tax credits for small businesses with less than FTE
25 FTEs that buy
it?
health insurance for their staff. But it's like you're not
But
going
it
to buy
doesn't apply
health
to me
insurance. No.
because I'm
You're
a
the
solo.
owner. Right.
It doesn't apply when it's just the owner. It would if
Right.
I had one or more
Correct.
full-time people.
Correct.
I see. So he misquoted on that.
Well, he probably assumed that when you were talking about people working for you, they were not contractors.
I didn't even mention that.
Yeah. Well, again, he assumed you had a small business that had some people.
No, I don't. No.
Well, because you didn't,
Yeah.
you probably didn't say I'm the sole person in the business because that's not correct. So he probably assumed you had a couple.
No, I would have told him that I was the only employee in the business, but that I had told him the business isn't making money. It's just nickels and dimes. So, my little Google AdSense revenue, and that because I had a job and I thought it was clear about that. So, I don't know.
No, so
Okay. So, my point is I got to write a note that it doesn't apply to my business
no.
because I don't have any full-time employees.
Yeah, to get the small business tax.
I need at least one full-time who I'm paying insurance for.
Well, and it could be 2 part-times. It's just an
Oh.
FT.
Okay.
Yeah, no, it's just a question, do they add up to 30 hours?
Okay.
So-
And I'm buying a policy
Right,
under the business that
Right.
covers them.
right.
Yeah. Okay.
Kind of like the Starbucks
Not just
approach.
me.
Right.
Yeah, not just me.
Exactly. And in fact, the interesting part, Gloria, when I'm listening to you, is one of the things that one of my clients did was exactly your situation. She had 2 buddies that needed health insurance. So the 3 of them went to a broker and they became a group. She walked out with a Blue Cross Blue Shield Gold. She's paying like $200 a month. She's got gold. And she doesn't have $6,000 deductible. She has $1,500. And that's because she was a group.
Right.
Suddenly it was very different. And in fact, when she came to see me, I said, I can't even think about how you did this.
Yeah.
To summarize, I do not qualify for the tax incentives. My business doesn't qualify for the tax credit. The insurance marketplace wanted to present me with Blue Cross Blue Shield choice plans, none of which are accepted by Cadence. Cadence owns the hospital in my area. They also own most of the urgent care facilities, clinics, and is where my orthopedic doctors are and where my physical therapist practices. The Land of Lincoln plans really aren't as good as my Blue Cross Blue Shield plan, even though the upfront costs are less. Going through the insurance marketplace to find my Blue Cross Blue Shield Silver plan, which I have now, not only did the Health Insurance Navigator find it for me, but also the monthly premium amount and the deductible amount are exactly the same as quoted to me by my own insurance agent. So the documented clips plus a summary took me 2 hours and 30 minutes. Add to that the time to document it all, which was about 3 hours. I have spent 5 hours and 30 minutes on this so far. Compare that to the time I spent finding the same Blue Cross Blue Shield Silver plan for the same price with my agent, 5 minutes. And then he met with me, which with driving took about 2 hours, but he bought me lunch. The meeting wasn't really necessary, but we hadn't met up for a long time. So in conclusion, 5.5 hours just to look into this
versus 5 minutes to come to the same conclusion.